Okay, penguin lover, you win. I've talked about this for ages and I've not done anything about it, so why don't we do something about it? What if Future Mai managed to take down Goku Black? Or at least managed to disable Zamasu's greatest ace in the hole? Now, this isn't going to be your typical what-if story where I elongate it into 30 bajillion chapters and leave you with frustrating cliffhangers. No. Today, I'm talking about 3 possible outcomes that could have arisen should Mai have struck true. For context, in episode 63 of Dragon Ball Super, when the Dragon team were beginning to mount their final push against Future Zamasu and Goku Black, Mai decided to show some initiative, take matters into her own hands, and go after Goku Black at his really fancy log cabin home when he wasn't on guard. You see, a couple of episodes back, the group had found out the truth about Black and Future Zamasu and what they mean to each other. That basically Goku Black wasn't immortal and basically was Zamasu in Goku's body. With that level of waxing lyrical, Future Mai and her crew hatched a plan to use energy projectiles left by Future Bulma for her trusty armament to use, potentially turning the tide in their favour, without having to rely on Super Saiyans to do so. Once and for all, fighting for their future, genuinely. So okay, let's go over those 3 possible outcomes that could have arisen from this plot point. The first one being the most likely. Mai nullifies the Potara. So aside from what we got in the original story, this would be the natural step up in terms of the success for the sniper. The group gets into position far away from Goku Black's log cabin, and Mai is able to patiently and calmly aim at the Potara E-ring instead of trying to aim to end Goku Black directly. In terms of the intel she had garnered from Goasu and Shin, those earrings were the most crucial part of Zamasu's Zero Mortal plan. Without them, they cannot fully carry it out and potentially fuse into a more malevolent being. Besides, Goku, Vegeta and Trunks could take him down after their new forms and training and whatnot. They might be able to do something. So, Mai takes careful aim, remaining cool and collected. Goku Black is completely off guard throughout all of these scenarios, hence why they might work. Even in the original, he wasn't really aware of anyone daring to take him down. Who would have the chutzpah to do that? I mean, come on, he was just supping tea and boasting to himself or anyone who would listen, which was the local flora and fauna. The purpose of this scene was to specifically show us all that Goku Black was able to be caught with this figurative pants down. So Mai takes aim and fires, but instead of destroying the earring, she is slightly too high, and instead hits the chain that connects the green jewel to the earring itself, the actual thing that connects to the lobe. In that moment of confusion and calamity, Goku Black falls backwards off his chair and clutches his ear after gathering his bearings. As far as he could tell, he was physically okay. No harm was done, except for his ear feeling a little bit toasty from the force of the bullet. It's just as well, Mai, since Shin had neglected to tell you the actual fact that, really, it was impossible to destroy the Potara fully. So, yeah. Oh no, oops, I forgot. Oh, silly Shin. Maybe not having that in your mind, Mai, was for the best. That slight miss turned out to be the best thing possible. Nobody said anything about the integrity of the chains and the metal links now connecting the jewel to the person, eh? The soldiers with Mai lament their supposed failure, but Trunks' partner isn't so worried. She points to her second in command and motions for him to look through the scope of her armament. When he indeed gazes into it, he can see that Black is standing up, sans the earring proper. All that was left was the clip attached to his ear. Those earrings are so light that you can barely tell that they're even on. So for now, Goku Black is unaware that he is now without his greatest weapon and begins to fire in the direction of the attack. And Future Trunks then steps in to save Mai and her posse from obvious destruction. Where did the jewel go? Well, let's throw in some classic Dragon Ball subversion, shall we? Thanks to the very natural design work of the log cabin, it fell through the gaps of the veranda, landing on the ground beneath them hundreds of feet below. In the heat of the calamity, neither Zamasu or Goku Black noticed that he was missing his earring, so they wouldn't even thought to look down there. And then just throw in some little fun, a bird eats it or something. We fast forward to when the battle isn't going so well for Goku Black, and it's clear that if he's not careful, that he could lose to Vegeta and end up being killed. So far, nobody has said to him that his earring is gone, Mai had told Trunks and then told the others that they had managed to successfully help turn the tide, so just shh, don't say anything. When Black and Zamasu agree to implement the next stage of their plan and merge into Fuse Zamasu, Zamasu turns to Black, having put on his own Potara, and then realised that the supposed magnetism that usually transpires when the second earring is activated and put on hasn't happened. Are you wearing your earring, my friend? Black nods and points to his ear. Zamasu is aghast, having seen it for the first time. Is this your idea of a joke? Where is it? Black protests that he is being serious and hasn't taken off the earring since he had been given it years ago. Vegeta is the one to tell him the hard facts. Looks like you've been caught with your pants down, freak. Sucks, doesn't it? Black is horrified. He tries to figure out what had happened. He then recalls the moment when he had been shot by that bizarre projectile and... no. Black tries to make a run for it, tried to go back to the cabin to find it. Good luck with that, mate. A green jewel in the midst of green foliage and natural refuse, which has now been probably eaten by a bird and then pooped out somewhere miles away. Yeah, that'll be fun. He is blocked by Vegeta, who is not through with beating him down. He has a look of mirth on his face. He had already injured Black considerably, and he was now free to carry on with his beatdown. Zamasu is completely flummoxed and spots Future Mai next to Trunks, firing a ki beam at her, instantly catching her off guard. Yeah, she's down instantly, she's toast. Him in a feat of peak Zamasu. Now this sparks Trunks into a form tinged with rage that Goku had shown him when they had first met up, back in episode 51. Super Saiyan 3 Rage. Why not? He charges after Zamasu, Goku going in to assist him, and together they turn Zamasu into paste. Living paste, because granted, Zamasu is still immortal and cannot die. But that little jerk can still feel pain, and he isn't exactly strong when you compare him to a Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan 3 Rage. As a result, he is powerless to help Goku Black, who is ultimately finished off by Vegeta, who is relishing Black's absolute panic, and of course getting to end somebody who looks like Kakarot. When Vegeta finishes Black off fully, he goes to help the others and tries to calm Trunks down somewhat. In the end, since they can't finish him off entirely, Vegeta has no choice but to call a halt to proceedings and knock him out. Yes, he can't die, but he can still be rendered unconscious. Time is of the essence here. Goku has to take Zamasu back to the past, retrieve a new talisman and urn from Master Roshi, and attempt the Martha Bell one more time, with Zamasu unconscious. Sure enough, with the sage's oversight, and him telling him off for forgetting the thing in the first place, it works out, and future Zamasu is contained in a brand new container. When Bulma has made enough fuel for a round trip to return to the future and come back, Goku returns to the future with a brand new flask containing Zamasu and presents it to Trunks, him stating that they can wish back Mai with the Dragon Balls back in the present. So they go back to do so, leaving the flask in the trusty hands of the soldiers who seal it away. They all then revive Mai and the group are victorious. And also not having to rely on Zeno, who destroyed the multiverse, remember? Not bad, eh? But okay, let's talk about the next scenario. A situation where Mai doesn't hit the earring, and instead, Mai badly injures Goku Black. So instead of Mai striking the Potara or the chains connecting the Potara to the earring itself, Mai hits Black in the chest, striking a place near his mortal and organic heart. At first, Black doesn't really notice anything off, since the force of the blast was enough to make him fall over off of his chair. And of course it was absolute chaos. But once the initial adrenaline had worn off, the pain began to trickle throughout his body, and it was only his copious amount of ki that was able to keep him alive. Mai curses under her breath that she hadn't killed him, but uses this calamity to escape and fall back to Trunks, who witnessed the whole thing from afar. He was surprised that Black could even be hurt like that, but then recalls something that his mother had told him ages ago when she had first met Goku, and almost had taken him out with a similar projectile. Turns out that despite having powerful ki and incredible strength, if you ain't expecting it, you can be wasted in a very undignified manner, something that Goku and Super Saiyan Blue witnessed from Sorbet himself. And that was all with a regular bullet and a very piddly little laser beam. With that energy bullet from Future Bulma, it was even more impactful. Trunks congratulates Mai for her efforts, but she still beats herself up over the fact that she hadn't ended him like she'd wanted to. But this could be enough to buy the others some time. Future Zamasu swoops in, not realizing who had done it since Goku Black had no means to counter, and is struggling to find a means in which to heal his friend. This was not something they had anticipated. That is until Future Rage Trunks shows up and chooses this moment to catch them both unawares. He fires a burning attack at the cabin, and both of Zamasu and Black are caught up in the blast and explosion, which destroys the structure. Oh no, their precious cabin and tea! Yes, it's not enough to waste them both right there and then, since Zamasu is immortal, remember? But it is enough to prevent Zamasu finding a suitable means in which to heal Black that he could understand. Black is struggling to breathe now. He cannot fly on his own. The Zamasu mind inside of him is running 1,000,000 miles a minute right now, unable to comprehend and fathom the fragility of mortal life, now that he was experiencing it for himself. Yeah, how does it feel, Black? Future Zamasu has a choice to make. Does he carry his ally away to safety, or regroup, or leave him to die? Well, he doesn't have much time to make a decision, since Goku and Vegeta are now on the scene, with the prince keen to take Black down. The three Saiyans descend upon Zamasu and Black and begin to fight them, whilst he's also carrying his compatriot. Vegeta is able to grab Black and toss him aside, then realizing that he can't fly, as the thing falls to the ground in a heap. Now, normally Vegeta would have shown some sense of honor and decency and not wasted this guy while he was down and unable to fight back. But given what these two had done to reality here, no, he had little patience for them. Vegeta breaks off from the duo and quickly incapacitates Goku Black. Now what to do with Zamasu? I can just do what I did in the previous scenario, but that would be a little bit repetitive for this video, so I thought I'd be a little bit creative here, and instead, I will do something that could help atone for Goasu's folly in trusting Zamasu in the first place and give that old little codger something to do. During this battle, Zamasu is unaware of Goku Black's passing, and is constantly trying to recover and fight off Goku and Trunks to get back to him, and now Vegeta has joined the party. Oh, great. He is too busy to notice also that Goasu was running over to Goku Black's dead body and hatching a plan. Now, it was risky, it could easily backfire, but it could nullify Zamasu's push. Now, does this remind you of something that a certain Grand Supreme Kai did in relation to a pink genie blob millions of years ago? In any case, Zamasu has one last-ditch effort to try and save his friend's life and use the Potara to fuse and revive his soul. But when he puts on his own Potara, he then spots something odd. Goasu, down by Black's body, wearing Black's earring. Goasu sighs and apologizes for putting his silly little faith in that disappointment. The two fuse into Zawasu, and the mixture of Goasu's wise age and experience and benevolence with Zamasu's youth and gusto forms a very impressive brand new fusion that is no longer as evil as before. Zamasu has been neutralized. The battle ends, but nobody fully trusts Zawasu. But the fusion states that he genuinely no longer wishes to end all mortals, and will instead turn himself into Zeno in this reality for punishment for all of the sins and horrific acts that his apprentice had caused. He didn't care what happened to him, so long as everyone was safe. Goku asks if he's sure about this, and Zawasu is certain. Goku presses his Zeno button and summons Zeno. Zawasu presents himself to Zeno, who mistakes him for a playmate and is happy to have new friends since they're a little bit thin on the ground at the moment. He takes him away and thusly is kept under control. The future is saved and Goasu finally does something useful. Yay! But okay, what about the third scenario derived from Mai's action? Well, supposing that Mai snipes Goku Black successfully. So for this one, it's the most straightforward. Mai hits Black right in between the eyes, and the shock of the attack, the force, and the fact that he was caught off guard is enough to end him. But let's make him suffer a little bit. Thanks to Black's bizarre combination of his mind and Goku's body, he has enough residual adrenaline to not realize what had happened in the immediate aftermath. He gets up, feels a burning sensation on his forehead, and then realizes that he's bleeding. Then he feels the hole, then he feels fear, and then he feels nothing. He collapses to the floor, motionless. Mai and the soldiers cheer. They had done it! They killed Black! But then they are left with the reality that it was that simple. All they had to do was catch him sipping tea with an energy bullet, and that was it? How many people had to die in order for them to figure that out? Well, that was the way it was. Future Zamasu swoops in and finds Black on the floor, not moving. He spots the wound and is flabbergasted. How was this possible? He was a god. How could he die like this? There was no way that he could have died from a stupid mortal weapon. Well, he should have made it immortal too. Oops, you're a little bit too selfish, Zammy boy. Now without his partner, he quickly spots the glint of Mai's scope and rushes over to her and the group of soldiers. He has no words for her. He is too angry for them. He simply sighs them down where they stand. Mai collapses to the ground, sliced in twain, but is not regretful. She felt that her actions were worth it. She had managed to kill one of them, without the need of Super Saiyans. She had shown those piddly gods what humans could do. The rest was up to Trunks. She dies. Trunks can't sense Mai anymore and finds her deceased body and flies into a fit of rage. We then fast forward with the three Saiyans fighting Zamasu, but this time, Zeno is called upon to take care of Zamasu. Trunks tells Goku to use his button to point the finger at Zamasu, since they can't kill him directly because he's immortal, that he was the one to hurt all these people and ruin Zeno's multiverse. Zeno doesn't like that and promptly erases Zamasu there and then, because he's too mean. He tried to play with him, but Zamasu wouldn't do it. The kid thanks Goku for the tip-off and goes home, hoping that he could find a means to rebuild reality. But hey, at least it's something for him to do, at least he won't be bored. With that, the future is saved, and Mai is of course eventually resurrected with the Dragon Balls from the present, because thanks to them, death really doesn't have a consequence. But it is dramatic in the moment. And if you want to find out why I think that her influence has rubbed off on the present Mai, click this video here, and I'll see you there.